What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. Taking a look at Drytron again. The first combo I showed was with Vanity's Ruler, and this, which I think is honestly a little better, but this combo is the Scythe lock. So blind Scythe locking your opponent, I don't know if it's the greatest thing in the world. Of course, 90% of your opponents will probably go into the extra deck, but I don't know. You never know. But it's not just Scythe lock. So we'll see here. We'll take a look where this starts. So this is a this is a combo, I should say, from a video that DB Grinder posted. It's where I find a lot of these combos to slow down step by step, because if you don't know what the cards do, it can be very confusing when you watch it. And that's what I plan on doing here. So this is a cracked hand for the most part, but it's not the craziest thing in the world to imagine. You know, preparation of rights searches Ben 10. Ben 10 is now semi-limited. There's Cyber Emergency. In this case, they have Drytron Nova. Interesting enough, Drytron Nova is actually quite good in this version of the deck, because really what you're just doing is link climbing. So if you can turn your Drytrons into link 1s, well, you're in a pretty good spot. So I'll go ahead and explain everything here. So what Drytron Nova does, it just lets you special summon a Drytron from deck, but destroy during the end phase, kind of like a rocket effect. But yeah. And then you can only activate it once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters except monsters that cannot be normal summoner set. No problem, because the only thing we're going to normal summon at the end of this is one of the Herald monsters. All right, so if you didn't watch my first video, basically Drytrons, what they do is they either tribute ritual monsters or they tribute amongst themselves. So like Drytron Zeta can go ahead and tribute Alpha, but in this case you can tribute Ben 10. So when Ben 10 is tributed, like in any case, it's not a once per turn, which is just crazy. You get to add a light fairy monster, and there's a lot of really good light fairy monsters. So, like I said, yeah, first thing, Nova, bring out Zeta, turn that into a Link Kribo. It's a link. It's a link 1 for level 1 monsters. So we can go ahead and bring Zeta back out by tributing Ben 10. So, like I said, that's what all the Drytrons do, and they all have secondary effects. So Zeta, its secondary effect once it's special summoned is to grab the ritual spell. Like, this can't be impermed, which is really, really interesting. Which is what makes Drytrons, so good. There's so many cards that just aren't good against it. So let's add the ritual spell, or it lets you add a ritual spell. But yeah, we are going to add the Drytron ritual spell, which is called Medionis Drytron. Ben 10 is going to trigger because it was tributed. These do tribute for their special summons. So the first thing you can do is add a Lancia. Because you have multiple Ben 10, like maybe you'd want to search this later, because you really are going for a Scythe lock, which is a light fairy. The Scythe. So, all right, so now we can go ahead and activate Alpha. So its special summon effect is let you add a ritual monster from deck to hand. To be honest with you, these aren't too important. They're just pluses. They are a little bit. That's not necessarily true. Like, you could search a second copy, of your Ben 10 or something like that. There's really not too many ritual monsters, which is funny. So Ben 10 was triggered twice, so let's add a light fairy. This time we're going to add Diviner of Herald. So this card is normal or special summoned. We can't special summon it, right? Or we can't use the effect on special summon, I'm pretty sure. What does it say? Does it not let you special summon at all? You cannot special summon monsters. So it doesn't negate the effects. Like, this cannot be special summoned, but it's okay. We haven't used our normal summon yet. So we can turn those into a Fafnir. So Fafnir, when it's special summon, lets you Foolish Burial a Drytron monster, right? This card, you can send one. Oh, it's one Drytron card. So you could send the ritual spell technically, but most of the time you're just Foolish Burial a monster. So we can go ahead and dump the Delta. So Delta lets you reveal either a ritual spell or a ritual monster and then draw one card. So we can activate Meteorotis Drytron, bring back the Ben 10, so we can just keep triggering it over and over and over again. So this is a cool ritual spell. So it lets you basically ritual spell based on attack, not levels like most ritual spells do. And also lets you add back by by targeting a Drytron monster you control, it loses 1,000 attack, and then you get to add it back to your hand. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And so the cool thing about Fafnir as well, if you're wondering what the heck just happened, so you get to drop off its material when you ritual summon instead. The add back is once per turn on the ritual Drytron, but activating the ritual spell is not once per turn. So in Zeta, because our Delta, I should say, we haven't used Delta's effect, we can tribute Ben 10 once again, which is going to let us add a third. So he ended up drawing, like, this is literally from the video, he drew Preparation of Rites, which is actually, like, kind of bad, because this is used to search Ben 10, which is kind of funny. But yeah, like I said before, Artifact Scythe is a light fairy. For some reason. We can normal summon Diviner, so this lets us Foolish Burial from the graveyard, kind of like an extra Foolish Burial. Lets us send Herald of Arclight, so it either lets us add a ritual monster or a ritual spell. And we can convert the Link Kuriboh, which we used we made a long time ago. Like I said, it's really good, with that Nova card and the Diviner because it's a tuner. Going to Hulk, not using Hulk effect, not really using anything that would be viable for that. Drytrons do not have room for a lot of hand traps. I think Forbidden Droplets is always like the staple 3 of the deck, and that's all the second cards they have. And it's really just kind of hoping to break the board. Let's just bring out Natasha because we can't trigger Benton anymore. So let's just target a face-up monster that you control, and you gain life points equal to half its attack. Good for tournaments, obviously, right, with time rules. But you can convert those to an IP Masquerena, those two being Fafnir and the Natasha. So it's additional disruption during your opponent's turn, and then you get to just set Scythe. So it doesn't look like insane, but think about it. Pot of Desires, like you're hitting Lancia. I would personally, because I feel like this is game anyways, because the follow-up for Drytron is just absolutely insane, what you can do. So, yeah, I would activate Lancia in the draw phase to play around pot of cards, and then you do have IP Masquerena, which can combine with your Delta, and that can go into a Nightmare Unicorn. I think I kind of show it here. It's not really all that important. The one thing I want to show you is the Scythe lock. So when people say that, what does that mean? It really just means this. So during your opponent's main or battle phase, quick effect, you can banish this card. You control, special summon a tuner synchro from your extra deck. It's treated as a synchro summon. So when this card is synchro summon, you can target a spell and trap on the field, destroy it. So go ahead and pop the Scythe. And when Scythe is destroyed in the spell and trap zone, it brings itself back. And when it's special summoned, your opponent cannot go into the extra deck. And then this lets you synchro summon during your opponent's turn. This is a level 5. This is a level 5. That makes 10. And, of course, that is just Baron to Fleur. So your opponent can't go into the extra deck now. You now have access to an Omni Negate. You did have Lancia already. And then you do also have Nightmare Unicorn. So, this is just a mirrored hand because that's how, EDO Pro works. But, so this isn't really important. I just want to show you all, the interaction that you can do. So, and then when you think about it, you have this as follow-up. The ritual spell is going to get added back to hand at some point. Because you can just keep tributing this, and your engine's just unstoppable at that point. The follow-up for Drytron, they just need one turn. They just need one turn of you not doing anything, and then they just win the duel. That's kind of how it works. So Scythe Lock, really interesting. Hopefully this helped you guys out a little bit in choosing how you want to build your Drytron deck, or if you want to learn how to play against it. Right? It's always good to see these combos slow down. But other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.